All right, so kind of 3 years in the making. Finished finally today, balancing it. The homemade DIY DLG I've been working on forever. All of my previous models were kind of building up to this one. It's 1 meter again. Kind of gone back and forth, 1.5 at some points, 1.2 meter, which I'm still going to do. I have the templates for that. But for the moment, I went back to 1 meter because I'm relegated to the soccer field down the road. So a little smaller, a little easier to make it first two. But this one is, unlike I've done before with the polyacrylic and hand sanding out airfoils, this one is built quote unquote the real deal, I guess you would say. I don't know. I hot wired the wings out. It still is an AGO3. It's a 4-part wing. Hard to see the seams right now. Vacuum bagged properly. Painted the Mylar, as you can see, some orange stripes, just to keep the theme of orange and stuff like that going. Some black invasion stripe type thing on the bottom, which I think is pretty cool. Probably not super necessary, but it turns out all that paint only added like 1/3 of a gram to the airframe. So painting Mylars is inconsequential really to the weight, at least at this size anyway. And I didn't spray heavily either. It's just kind of a mist. I guess if you laid a lot of paint on there, it probably would make a difference, but turned out good. The fuse is carbon sock pulled over a golf club shaft as a mandrel. The cone is lost foam, same kind of sock but bigger, pulled over that. And then there's a pod as well. You can see the push rods for the ailerons exit out the back of the pod. I tried to emulate a Vladimir's original snipe kind of thing with this, and or spin DLG, which is a little bit more rare as it wasn't out very long before Vladimir had to kind of shut things down. There's nothing special about the program. I use the same DLG template for every plane. 15 millimeters up and down. A little bit of expo there. The normal up and down. Some snap flaps. Normal landing mode, which is 30 millimeters down with the compensation for the elevator. Rudders, I think like 15 millimeters back and forth. All kind of high throws, but I like that. Most people should probably start out with lower throws or dual rates. I don't feel the need for that personally, though it's usually a good idea for most people. What else? It came out how I wanted it. It's a tight fit in the, well, I gotta put this down for 1 second. Tight fit in the fuse as it was meant to be. The all-up weight was 164 grams once I balanced it, and to get it to balance at about 63 millimeters where I want the CG to be, I actually had to add 1.5 grams of weight to the tail, which is fine. I didn't actually expect that. I expected the opposite, so I'd put the case back on the receiver because it does fit. And I wish I hadn't now, because that's like 3.5 grams extra in the nose with that plastic case, but I don't really want to take this thing apart to retuck all the wiring and everything again. I'd rather just leave it and add that little bit to the tail boom. It's a little heavier than I originally wanted it to be. That's okay. It's still on the lighter side as far as home-built planes go, I believe. It's a really tight run. The aileron servos there. These are all Emax 9052MD, which is the Metal Gear version of the 9051 popular servo. They seem to work really well. They maybe double centered just a little bit. That's probably due to the fact that it's a balmy like 48 degrees in my garage here. it's howling outside and snowing. Yeah, they seem to work great. They have decent torque. They're about the size of a KST X08, and they have the specs as far as power goes at 1S of an X06, which is totally adequate. So torque-wise, I think they're good, especially for 1 or 1.2 meter. I don't know that I wouldn't go to something a little bit beefier for a 1.5 meter plane, though my Falcon has 4 X06s in it, and it's totally fine. So maybe not. They have about the same torque as these guys. So this might actually work just fine for a 1.5 meter. Now, a molded chip, of course, you're going to put something higher end in. But for these guys at $9 a pop, I think it's a pretty good deal. It's like 4 of them for less than the price of one KST X06, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, so you can see again, the aileron push rods. I think I did a pretty cool job on that. They run through that little pseudo pod here and exit out the back with some keepers on them. And there's really no slop there. It's pretty well done. Pat on my own back there. It keeps it out of the airstream in the front, which I think is really cool. Trying to make this thing, it's not going to be like, you know, slippery like a molded ship, but I think it's pretty good. So, well, we're going to take it for a flying session as soon as I can. Maybe, I don't know. It's Tuesday now and it's snowing. It's supposed to snow again on Friday. I just don't know. As soon as I can. It might be a week or more before I actually get to fly this guy, if I can find a day where it's just a few miles an hour. But anyway, we'll, of course, film and document that as soon as it happens. Have a good day, guys.